If you can build it here, you can build it anywhere.
I think I'm just going to say that if you don't like something, change it.
Okay, if I build one on wheels, what are my hurdles? If I build one without wheels, what are my hurdles? What's local code requirement going to drive me towards?
You could be 60 years old and you want to move your parents into an accessory dwelling unit. They have to go over the same hurdles as a 20-year-old that doesn't want to have the lifestyle.
What we need are safe, secure places that someone can actually afford to live inside of.
And this is a recurring theme of we're not going to let you do it.
You want a different lifestyle, it's not a tiny house podcast. It's good times right now for...
Well, it's
good enough.
It would seem that way from the outside looking in.
Yeah, but that's why we're here to talk to you.
Yeah,
we want to know.
Because you've got a buyer, say, even 3 to 450 up in El Paso County.
Yeah,
you're one of 17 to 25 offers. You don't have a chance. So you might be working with the buyer on property 1, 2, 3, 4, anything you can find, and they'll, as the process evolves, they're making incredible concessions. Like, wait a minute, I didn't want to live on a busy road, and I didn't want to be this far from the kid's school, but what are you going to do? So that buyer is actually entertaining Fremont County more than they had in the past.
Turn it on. Okay, I thought you might have, because you're sitting.
I figured you.
Yeah, he does. This is how we want.
Some of the best stuff comes before and after.
Dude, the bookends.
Like you're talking in the bathroom.
Yeah. But the conversation's so important too, and you're wonderfully comfortable. Obviously, we've had people come in that are very nervous to be on a podcast, even though it's in Barna's office.
Well, with you two here, I can see why they'd be nervous.
I would be too, but I'd be more nervous about getting robbed. Yeah,
maybe that's a better word.
Intimidated by our knowledge and skill set.
Clearly, and my inability to barely fit through the door.
Big personality. Your office is big for a reason. Yeah.
And maybe we should let our guests talk. No, just
speak for yourself. You are all here to listen to
me. I want to hear what
audience.
This is a speech.
Yeah.
And we haven't had a chance to catch up recently, so you tell me what you're feeling and hearing and seeing.
As far as things inside of the real estate market from a builder perspective, is that what you're... Mm-hmm. Right. So...
Or any perspective.
Any perspective at all.
Yeah.
I think houses are too expensive. I think many of them that are even close to reasonably priced need more work and more money than many people, at least people inside of my age range. We haven't had a full lifetime to accumulate, equity and wealth.
You are a millennial, aren't you?
Of course, I'm a millennial.
Yes.
I'm
proud of it. Free and doesn't want to work.
I am proud of it.
So when you talk to a baby boomer, we have different perspectives.
Naturally, we do.
Are you a baby boomer?
Yes.
I'm that old.
Mm-hmm. No, I.
What are you? X, Y,
X,
R, Q.
I guess is that
seriously.
Sage
Z
knows
squared.
better than I do.
What are you?
Z squared.
Yeah. What are you? So we got one of each inside the conversation right now, right?
Wow.
But you're right. Generally speaking, and I was trying to work this into the last conversation with Roger too, but it's like the generation that follows generally disagrees with the generation that was their predecessor.
That's their job.
Yeah, exactly, right? Mm-hmm. I'm here to defy my parents because I don't want to listen.
Because they don't know anything.
What could they
and may never know anything more.
Right. But that's not the reality. Isn't that I like to oppose them because I disagree with them. I disagree with the fact that everything's remained the same. My current landscape is not the same as theirs was or yours was when you were my age.
True.
So I say same game, different board. And if we could figure out how to agree that we have a new set of challenges and it's not the same. So instead of educating me on a future we don't actually know, we find a way to work together and move forward.
Well said.
Thank you. And that's
for a millennial.
And I'm not even looking at my cell phone while we're having this conversation.
You haven't Googled 7 things. Well, I did bring some information. I don't know if it's going to be helpful. I like to have stuff in writing, of course.
Yeah. And we have some too.
You like to prepare.
I try.
Yeah.
I try.
He does well.
It's an old baby boomer thing.
Yeah.
I bet you had to print everything off too, huh?
Yeah.
Well,
he had his secretary do it because he's rich.
I want to do my job to take down the trees.
Is that binder mahogany?
No,
it's mahogany in color for sure.
It's baby calf.
Yeah. This is veal I had last night.
Well, like his shoes, which are
you probably aren't familiar with this term.
Snake.
It's naugahyde.
Yeah.
You're familiar with that material?
You're right.
You could build a house with that.
Naga hide?
It's fake.
And they
leather.
used to
Is
say
this
you
fake? It's plastic.
Absolutely plastic.
It's
But I
plastic.
From
can't
a
say,
boomer, I know it's
cannot
plastic.
say it's made of old water bottles. I can't say that. It'd be nice if I could.
No, it's definitely a new product that
No, it's
can't
not
be
recycled. It's
No,
not. It's not upcycled. It's
nothing.
just.
It's just cycled.
It's a landfill disaster.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it even a name brand?
Oh,
I
no.
mean, no.
Oh, you have something that looks
I got my Day Runner here.
okay. Well,
Day Runner.
I remember day runners. Yeah.
Leather.
Field book,
Beautiful.
recycled paper.
Oh, show off.
Goodwill, $2.
Okay.
Recycled.
Beat that.
Recycled paper. Got it for free.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Does it make
Millennials.
good siding for a house?
Say that again.
Will it work for siding on a house?
This, no, but we're working on that.
So it'd be
With
close.
all the
We have a
plastic-
solution for that,
With
too.
all the plastic that you boomers have
I
given
tell you,
us,
I'll
we have
donate all my-
abundance of
All my
plastic.
old binders, if we could turn that into a house.
Just nail it onto the side.
Just,
I have seen that.
I don't
think
think,
it was planned.
planning and zoning will approve.
Probably
Well,
was.
planning and zoning is not a design review board, so they have to. We all have to understand what.
Usually.
Well.
Usually.
Usually.
Oh, no, they're whatever they want to be.
Yeah.
That's a lot of truth.
Whatever
to
they
that.
feel like doing that day.
What mood am I in? This is how I'm going to be today. And you've experienced that.
So, wanted to play a little guessing game for a moment?
I would love to.
How many
We would love to.
active listings in the Canyon City zip code right now? How many?
Just
homes?
Canyon City
Just
zip code?
Canyon City zip code.
100.
Nope.
Higher or lower?
Oh, he's way high.
Yeah, I was going to say
6.
I was actually going to say 19, but a little bit of me wants it to be 29.
You're close. 24.
So
Oh,
my
look at
average,
that.
I'm pretty decent.
And how about Florence?
Oh, geez. I'm going to go with 8.
Residential houses?
Residential properties,
Oh.
correct.
4.
15.
Nice. Okay.
And we'll give you one more shot. Penrose,
I'm going to go with 14.
5.
Holy shit. Well,
So we have an inventory
one.
problem.
so yeah, we're low on inventory.
Absolutely.
And what does that do when you have a supply and a demand? How does that work for?
Leads to multiple offers. It leads to some serious decision making for a seller. It also, one of the things that most people would assume is that it's great to be a seller now. It's just the perfect time.
So it's a seller's market and
Seller's
common
market.
vernacular.
However, you sell
How do you
and you
replace
take
it?
advantage of your equity, and now you have a little stash. What do you do next?
Now you're homeless.
You're homeless because there's not enough to choose from.
Your cash
and the
rate.
prices, especially up north of Fremont County, you better entertain a smaller community, something out east, something down south, something on the western slope if you want to stay in Colorado.
Smaller
Kansas.
house?
Kansas is a great option.
Well,
Just
not
keep-
even smaller
keep
house
driving.
because there's
Just keep
nothing on
driving.
the market. So even if you want to downgrade, you're gonna lose money, probably. I'm thinking if you would downgrade square
Or
footage or
It's the cost
Or
to
if
replace
if you can purchase for half of what you sold your home for,
Which
then
where would that
pocket
come
the
from?
rest. You can still do that.
You can.
You can
Well-
sell at 600 in the Springs,
okay.
and you
And
come
come
down
here
here
for
for
three.
3.
Well, the question is, if you already live here, can you sell for 600 and buy at 3, or sell at 400
more
and buy at
challenging,
2?
more difficult.
Okay, just wondering
Yeah.
about that.
So if you're local-
homeless, so if you're local,
I'm just, one of the reasons I'd mention that is because that's why you're seeing this migration south from Denver, Fort Collins, Colorado Springs, even from Pueblo, coming here and putting all this pressure on the local market. So you're right. If you're a local buyer and you want to move laterally or you want to move up in the community or you want to downsize, you are in this pool of buyers that you didn't have to compete with 2 years ago.
Right. The
3 years
buyer's
ago, 4
waters
years ago.
are pretty treacherous right now. And you were sharing something earlier that, what did you say? If you 17 offers per home that's dropped on the market.
And it doesn't even have to be well located or in good condition.
right.
It's just available.
It's so now we're not even talking about who's advantaged, disadvantaged. It's literally that we don't have enough housing to support the population of people.
Absolutely true. And that's I think that's a fair statement for the entire state.
Right. So how do we correct the inventory problem?
Make more.
We have to build more. Do you think you've seen property values go down when someone has added a small living structure like an accessory dwelling unit to their existing parcel? Let's just say you have a 6,000 square foot lot. You have a 2,000 square foot house. This probably isn't too far outside the common lines, right? You have
Sounds right.
you have additional square footage on that lot that you could add an accessory dwelling unit to if you wanted to. would that supplement some of the inventory issues?
It would probably create an attractive option for someone.
Sure.
I don't know that it fixes the housing problem, because that's going to be a generational purchase.
Right.
In other words, grandma's going in there, or the millennial who never left in the first place.
What are you trying to say?
I don't know.
If my dad had an ADU in his yard in Minnesota, I'd still be here. Just saying. It's a heck of a commute.
But if you had a house in an ADU, would he be down here?
Yeah, you might have
Well,
to.
there you go.
Yeah.
You might have to be, right?
Kicking and screaming.
I don't know, man. I think after a week he'd be like, I'm gonna go suntan or whatever
In the snow,
And I'd have
because
to
it's
put
still warmer than home.
Oh, big time. And I'd have to put a privacy fence up.
If that buyer decides to purchase something that already has an ADU,
Is that a
then
motivator at all? Or?
it is, because it becomes rental income.
Right. So they can
If they're not putting a family member in there for the next many years,
yeah,
they walk into a property where much of their mortgage,
Mm-hmm.
at least maybe half of their mortgage, could be paid through this rental property. And
Right.
it does take care of a housing issue. It allows one or two more people to find a place to live.
But the housing problem isn't just not enough houses on the market to buy
Rentals.
or sell.
Yeah.
Rentals too, right? So I talked to somebody that sold their house at Newland Creek area, I guess.
Yep.
And they went to rent something here in Fremont County because
They tried. Yeah.
They ended up in the Springs, and they found a house. They said it took them a while to find something for rent because about 20 some people would show up at the showing for the rental, because like you can show up at this time. 20 people would show up, most of them dressed in their best clothes, driving their best car, with cash for the whole year. $3,000 a month for a house, and they would show up with $36,000 cash to say, please rent to me because there's nothing else.
It almost feels like a cartel deal, doesn't it? Briefcase full of cash.
Yeah.
I'm renting.
But it's the only way you have a
rent
roof
to
over
me
your head.
right
and that's-
now, or the deal's off.
You've seen this?
Yes. On a purchase, a new listing comes on the market, you will have a 4-day window in which to see the property. But those are 15-minute increments.
Right.
And you will hop in there as soon as you possibly can, as soon as that listing is triggered. And you won't get an appointment until the 4th day, if you get one at all.
So tell us a little bit about, real quickly, because now that we've had a chance to warm up the mics and Sage is good on the production side of it, right? Who the hell are you and what do you do?
Oh, who the hell are you?
Instead of who's your daddy, what does he do?
So-
Who are you and what do you do?
Well,
Why are you
I
here?
kind of resent the question so long into the interview, because I just wandered in.
See, but-
actually,
Exactly.
We don't know
you
what
have
we're doing.
no idea who I am.
You get in here.
Yeah,
guy.
Yeah, I was like, we have some airtime to.
He's
We
like-
saw this guy walking down the street.
He's got a folder.
and he had a cool binder.
Actually, I just sold my
Seemed
house.
old
and I've
enough
got
to know
everything,
stuff.
everything I have in my car.
Cash rich and house
I'll be
poor.
staying in my
Homeless.
car until I get an appointment to see a rental.
Right.
You can rent my office today.
It's very spacious.
Today.
If you got $36,000 cash.
Yeah.
Let me check.
And if you
Bathroom
don't-
is down the hall. No shower.
No,
No shower.
Let the man
That's right.
introduce
Wet
himself.
naps.
Who are you and what do you do?
Well, unfortunately for you two, I've known you both a while, and
Not me as long.
yeah, he's proud of that.
Yeah.
My name is Wayne Jennings. I'm with Berkshire Hathaway Realtors in Florence. We also have an office in Colorado Springs. So
Hold on, that's one of those like startup real estate companies, right? The name is
yeah, it's
like
that-
haven't
that-
heard of it.
Some kind of Jimmy Buffett. No, we get that
He's
a
got
lot.
a cousin or
We
something.
get that a lot. Is that the company that Jimmy Buffett owns? I love his songs.
Yeah.
Jimmy
That
Buffett's
sounds right.
cousin started.
Buffett
real
owns,
estate
like-
It'd be a very different company culture if
Jimmy
Jimmy
Buffett owns a
owned it.
margarita
but,
company.
But fortunately, it's
okay.
it's
Not a housing.
It's Warren,
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah, and they're not related.
Hold on.
I don't believe.
Who's Jimmy Warren?
I think Jimmy Buffett is actually Warren Buffett's millennial son.
He may be.
They're the same age, but whatever.
But he did fine for himself too. He's he was a musician,
do
and he
really
turned
well.
himself into a real big time capitalist. Not as big as the Oracle, but
And the Oracle lives in the same house he's lived in for 50 plus years.
exactly.
In a very modest ranch home in Omaha.
So
Anyway,
you work in you're a realtor, you're a broker.
correct.
Okay. And so you've seen the market develop over how many years? How many years?
25.
25 years of this.
Hold on. What did you do before that?
Worked for a typical company,
Yeah.
media company.
Yeah. What did you do there?
My wife and I worked in the newsroom at Channel 11, Colorado Springs. That was 25 years ago. Okay, remember, this would be before cell phones.
This was before Sage was born.
Before Sage was born.
There was a time before cell phones?
No, there was not. BCC is before
Before cell phones.
cell service. No, BCS.
Messenger pigeons were being fed
Sky-
well at the
all the
time.
rage.
Are you familiar with skywriting? And,
Yeah.
Smoke signals
Yes.
from all the
Hieroglyphics.
smoking because you're,
Yeah, it was Mad Men
No,
era.
25 years ago.
How was,
Truly,
how was the whiskey
there were,
for breakfast?
There were people who smoked in the newsroom, and we had one of those backdrops where it was a poster of the city skyline, but it was an open newsroom, kind of an interesting concept for the time, because typically they'd have you in some.
So progressive, you millennials.
It was
boomers,
watch
that
it,
right?
yeah. Watch it. Don't call me names.
I didn't mean to offend you.
But we had a gentleman who was the anchor there for 35 years, and he insisted on donuts and a cigarette right behind everyone who's delivering the news. So he'd come in with a cigarette and a donut, and the audience wouldn't think twice about that.
Sounds like me in
That's
high
when
school.
we were smoking. Well,
Yeah.
not we, but
Smoking was
people were allowed to smoke on an airplane. And of
Yeah.
course, that's way before
But now-
even you were born.
But now you can't.
Even me.
Even you.
I'd be offended.
Yep.
Uh,
Okay. Back
okay.
on the housing track. Sorry about that.
No, that's
where
good.
were we?
That's good. No, so developing, your experience and your expertise inside of the real estate game, and kind of where you fall in line with homes that already exist, listing homes, helping people buy homes, those kind of things. What about development? Like, how do you? Where's a good place for you to kind of fall in line with land development and how that goes on? Because we have a little outline on the board. It's not very clear because Barna has a lot of chicken scratch all over the place. My whiteboard's nothing like that.
What would it be? More organized? Oh, I
Yeah,
see. There's
no.
okay.
So we're
Podcast question mark because we don't even know what
I have
podcast
I have
we're
cue
on.
cards. You don't know
kind
those
of.
either.
These are just some things
Cue
we
cards?
wanted to.
Teleprompter.
Well, you're the guy from the newsroom. We thought you were bringing it.
I didn't even realize that you had done that. That's really very nice of you.
So you do have a lot of experience in front of like a microphone or a camera. Was that your?
That was part of it. Yeah.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Development, right? Where can you? How does it work if you're going to sell on speculation? For example, can you sell a lot with a house plan? Do you have to have framing going up? Is the builder gonna be underway before you can do that thing? Can you sell it that way at all? How does it work?
Well, I'll give you a quick example. We just wrapped up the sale of our 11th new build,
Okay.
just off the main drag in Florence, which is the Last Mile Estates on your way to the river.
Okay.
Sign
That builder that I've worked with for more than 20 years just purchased 35 additional lots
Wow.
in that same neighborhood, and he'll have to put in streets.
Yep.
In this case, and
So
curb and
he's
gutter and
developing. I mean, he's the developer now.
He's
too.
developing. It's not often that you have a developer builder, the same person doing
Right.
those two things. Typically, a builder who just concentrates on building will look for a developed lot that's ready to go,
Right.
and then he'll stick his floor plan on there and
Up you go.
up we go. We we had a tremendous amount of interest in those 11 homes. It didn't take long to get them under contract at any phase of construction. So foundation, we had one that didn't even have a foundation, and they were ready to rock and roll.
Okay.
But that floor plan was developed by the builder over time, and it was really kind of a basic, popular, one level, 2-bed, 2-bath, 1,600 square feet, 3-car garage, and
320.
that's $299.
Not bad.
Yeah. Now that same house, a little bit bigger, on these 35 additional lots, because of the cost of construction, we're going to be at $375, and it'll still be a bargain.
Yeah.
For the person coming in from outside the area. Now, it doesn't help with a local. I mean, it could,
Sure.
but it doesn't help locally. We're bringing more people in, but that's not the mission. Is to create more housing for
Satisfy
people who
the
live.
housing that
people
there's a
live
need
here.
here already.
Yeah, and that's really challenging.
And what's that need? What's that dollar amount that people can locally afford for rent or to purchase a home.
Well, you remember these days, it wasn't that long ago. 4 years ago, when we opened our office on Main Street, you could hop into the multiple listing service at any given moment, and there might be 8 to 10 properties each day, every day, under 100,000.
I was gonna say 80 to 120 was a decent. You were treading water there. I mean, you were gonna find something that was gonna be safe.
And now you're hard pressed to find something under 175.
Right. And has the quality, I mean, it could be the same house.
Absolutely, with not much work done to it.
With or none.
Or none.
A none.
Right.
Or in worse condition than
Exactly,
it was.
yeah, because now it's got 4 more years of wear.
So
and tear
I think the sweet spot on price here is anything under 200. Rates are still so low that you buy at that number and you're still paying less than you would on your monthly rent.
Is that possible though? So based on
To build?
your builder,
No,
yeah,
it really
the
isn't.
property land cost, development costs, and building costs. Is a house today possible under $200,000?
It is not, and that's why you
For-
haven't seen.
For how many square feet? So that's the other thing too. So the minimum square footage here in Florence is 850.
I want to say
60.
856 or
Yeah,
something like
something like that, right? So let's say 900.
What's the cost per square foot?
Can you build a 900 square foot house for under $200,000?
A traditional builder cannot. That's why what you two are
Right.
doing.
Well, of course, it's a loaded question, but do you know, you talked to the guy, you worked with him for 20 years. Does he go, I'm building for $200 a square foot. I'm building for,
Well, we did. That was
yeah.
$299 was $200 a square foot.
Right.
And that set a record. And in the beginning, we weren't sure the market would support
Bear it, yeah.
Regardless of size, if it has 2 bedrooms and a bath, or it's even a 1-1 people are looking for at the right price.
Right.
Prefab construction, manufactured homes, everything that is out there that's possible to build this is a great place to do all that.
It is.
So we just talked about this with Roger. I went
Right.
to Poncha Springs. They have the prefab home. You can buy them there, and I think they're a reseller. They're not direct or anything, but I priced an 1,100 square foot one with a added on porch and kind of like a cool.
Sounds nice.
1,100, and it was like kind of mid-century modern looking. I was like, this will be great. How much is this? Price came back with everything, $321,000
For the structure,
1,100 square foot.
to put that structure on a truck
Well,
and bring it here?
No, that plus they had
They had appliances.
estimated they had appliances and everything. But
Appliances. Oh, you really need those?
yeah, I asked. They said yes, it's
How about a
included.
cooler?
I don't, but
you
you
don't
guys
need a
all do.
fridge. You don't need a.
Well, I asked about that. It's
cold
No,
outside.
it's included because I'm like, can I just get the white fridge instead of the stainless steel one? And like, no, because nobody has white fridges anymore.
That's
it's all
true.
Stainless steel.
Yeah.
But that included a lot of estimated costs for sewer and this. But even so, that included estimated costs for all your development, which the numbers weren't
Now,
even
was that
completely right.
there was a land cost in there too?
No.
No. That was like an estimate for the foundation, engineering the foundation, sewer, septic.
So come to
all
us
those.
with your dirt, and we'll help you put a $300,000.
Modular.
No.
modular
You got to
home.
put all your own stuff on there. We'll just bring it and drop it on there. You still got to find all your own people.
Your
and
contractor has to
everything.
do all that. Yeah.
Yep.
They didn't even.
They'll drop it off for $300.
Yeah.
The actual unit
Oh
price
wait,
is like
no, there's a delivery charge.
155.
That's another 15 grand.
I don't think I might have it with me somewhere, but it was like 155 for the base unit, and then it was like, oh, porch extra, this extra, windows
Sure.
extra,
Roof extra.
and it just
Doors and
kept
windows
adding up.
extra.
321 was the bottom price there on that form.
And then you got to add a foundation, land, and your taps and everything else.
Yeah.
It's a $400,000 modular house.
Didn't you drive away thinking that that's an unsuccessful business model
They're booked out
30 weeks. 30 weeks.
30 weeks.
for delivery? So
They're basically sold out. They're sold out today, and you got to wait 30 weeks. To
well, okay,
31 weeks.
If you
to
want,
get your
if you
house.
can't buy a resale, say in Colorado Springs, for example, you want to go new. You've probably heard this.
Oh, no. I mean, these were new.
No, I know.
To build new, but yeah, okay.
But
Please
we're
go.
talking about wait time.
Yeah.
So in Colorado Springs, you will put your name on a list, and you will wait 1 year, at least, to visit the development to the new filing to choose your lot. So you're hoping that there's something to choose from in 12 months. And then there'll be another 8, 9, 10, maybe a year of construction time. So why would you do that?
So
But
you know
people
what
are doing it.
This
They're booked
sounds
out that far.
No
to
option.
me a lot like socialism. So in socialist Hungary, if you wanted a car, you got on a waiting list. You had a choice of 2 colors, maybe 3.
You're welcome.
You had basically 3
There's the
models, couple colors each. So you had maybe 10 choices of a car. You had to be like part of the Communist Party to even be first in line to be able to get on the list to get the car.
It sounds like
Then you had to put
vaccinations.
all your money down, and then a year
What?
later, you might get your car.
You might.
So what are we doing wrong or right
It
to
does
cause
sound
this?
very familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's like, why are we in 1980s or 1990s socialist Europe in America or in Colorado, because it's not everywhere, in Colorado today?
Well, I think Colorado, and I was looking at some stats out of Boise, Idaho. Their market is off the charts crazy. If we think it's crazy here.
It's a new tech center in Boise. There was a huge influx of tech companies that were starting to develop there because the quality of living was so high. And yeah, I guess they just bombed the whole city.
well, and
out.
it's that much closer to California.
Yeah.
And that,
Yeah,
one of
It's
the
the first
reasons,
stop on the
and you take a
Oregon
market that
Trail.
was already sizzling and you throw in a pandemic where very wealthy people with a lot of assets are tired of where they're living and they're just going to go buy something somewhere. They don't really care what it costs. They're going to get their family out of there and they may never return. That was a second home buyer for Colorado 5 years ago. Now,
yeah, they're just
what the
pulling
heck?
up
I can
stakes
work
and-
from anywhere. Google tells me I should work from home. You know, Google's now,
Yeah.
the state's looking at penalizing people who leave and work somewhere else in a lower tax state
Why?
what?
because they don't want to lose residents,
Yeah.
taxpayers.
Oh, I see.
So
So they're going to keep their
you
tax
work
base
for
there
Google.
because
Google says live where you want. You go to New Mexico, Colorado, Idaho.
so they think it's a good
wanna
idea.
penalize you.
They're gonna put a gun to your head for
They're gonna give you
ruining their
a
tax base.
difference. Probably.
boot you out of the state tax.
We have completely come unraveled as what we were supposed to be.
So
But-
Okay, so California's moving here. We're not
and
building
not
enough
just
homes.
Californians.
We're not building homes fast
But
enough.
dude, also
and they're the ones who are, and I hate to say this because I'm a former Californian, but hate to admit it, but full disclosure.
after all these days we've known each other,
I know. But it's
these
been
minutes.
it's almost been 40 years. So
in all these minutes we've
I don't
talked.
think that makes me a native of Colorado, but pretty close.
no, I'm not from here either. Neither's Barna.
The big
I'm there from this
cities are
country.
Fair enough. Yeah. What do you?
yeah. Okay.
You.
Who at the table came the
I'm
first?
here to take everybody's real estate
Yeah. Seriously, I'm here for your land.
for your land.
Sounds like war. Anyway, please go with what you were talking about.
1 acre at a time, man.
Yeah. Quarter acre, really. That one little thing.
I bought 10.
One container at a time.
Anyway,
All right, so
you came from
It's
California.
not just California.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't even mention
Reverse
that. You get
Oregon
stuck on that,
Trail.
aren't you?
Reverse
Whatever I
Oregon.
say now doesn't even
We're
count.
going the other way now.
Oh, okay.
Your
Well, I was
cows
born
come
there.
back to
Let's just say I
life.
was born there.
Buffaloes.
I don't even like to go back. It's
Really?
it's crazy land out there.
Yeah.
But you take the California migration and you just multiply that by every other big city in the country, and you know, we used to think people in Colorado Springs moving there years ago thought, God, the town is just it's a little small. There's not enough going on.
In Colorado Springs. Yeah. Now it's way outgrown. It's
And now I get calls from people like, I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
They're of retirement age. Get me out of the traffic, the
This
high
is your
costs.
job. Get me out of here.
That's right. And so I need to find them a shipping container home, apparently. And
It'd work. They're going to end up in one anyway.
they're going to downsize. Well, I'll show you downsizing,
Yeah.
right? Bring them down to see you guys.
Yeah. So, but that actually brings me to a good question, I think. So, in real estate, you don't sell tiny houses because they're on wheels. You don't sell just an ADU. You can sell something as long as it's on a foundation.
We can sell anything as long as it comes with land, if you want to look at it that way.
Okay.
So
it's
if
gotta
something already has a mobile home, a manufactured home, a tiny home, a
it's
makeshift
allowed.
cabin,
Yeah.
a lean-to, a tough shed.
Okay.
We certainly handle all that.
Okay.
As long as it's attached or on land.
And even if it's not, it's still considered personal property, and
Okay.
it
Goes with the land.
go with the land or not.
Okay. And that's between the buyer and seller. at
Correct.
that point, yeah.
Correct.
So
But that could be something that is easily marketed.
So that's what constitutes, what you can sell is when someone comes and says, I have earth that I'd like to sell. You can list commercial, industrial, residential.
and the only difference would be a condo where it's just airspace.
So
But that would be a typical.
can you
listing as well.
unpack how that works a little bit with a condo? If you say you're selling airspace, because you're not selling the ground below, but you're selling the walls around it above
Correct.
ground.
And they're-
Studs in, right?
And they're all also purchasing whatever common areas there are because they'll be instant members of the HOA
Right.
and paying dues toward all of the common ground maintenance. So if there's a park bench and a little patch of grass, they are 1/60th owner of that.
Okay. And so they pay on maintenance for that and those kind of things
Correct,
for their HOA.
correct. And one of the things that Denver's trying to do to keep up with demand, they're just going vertical,
Yeah.
which is what you'd expect. But those prices are insane up there for, a condo about the size of your office here, Barna. It's a very generous office, but it would make maybe a tight space for a home, but that's what you get for about $500,000.
I shouldn't have sold all my condos 5 years ago. I would be a multi-millionaire right now.
We need to have a whole nother afternoon of shoulda, coulda, woulda. in the
Sure.
real
Oh,
estate
yeah. No, if you guys
business.
really want to play.
Oh, yeah.
Should have kept my first
That
car.
would be depressing,
That
though.
thing's 80.
That would
Only
be
if we start drinking.
Oh, if only.
We're going to need
You
it.
guys haven't started drinking?
Yeah, we're going to need it.
Follow us, like us, share, subscribe. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or wherever you consume your podcast.